diggy die, diggy die, 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 diggy die, die. I die, diggy die, diggy die, die, I die, diggy die. I die, diggy die, diggy die, die, I die, diggy die, die. I die, diggy die, diggy die, I die, diggy die. Oh, I diggy die, I die, diggy die. Try that with us. I die, diggy die, diggy die, die, diggy die. I die, diggy die, diggy die, die, diggy die. I die, diggy die, diggy die, die, diggy die, die. I die, diggy die, diggy die, die, diggy die.
Shabbat Shalom. How good and beautiful it is to be here this Shabbat morning as one kahal, as one congregation, and as one extraordinary movement. The coats that we have brought to this place have been boxed and are prepared to be shipped to City Mission. We are rejuvenated from our beautiful service last night and our exhilarating song session. And we are back in our biennial sanctuary. Some of us, it seems, never even left. Most of us are exhausted from a week of studying and learning, praying and networking, and some of us, I suspect, are exhausted too from living and acting in a world that seems to us to be spinning out of control. Exhausted from the steady parade of storms that have swept across our land, exhausted from acts of violence, threats from ISIS, gun violence in our schools, in our concert venues, and in our houses of worship. Exhausted by the lack of truth, even blatant dishonesty that is all about us. Exhausted by the injustices in our criminal justice system. Exhausted by the anti-Israel bias on the world stage, and exhausted by the increased incidence of anti-Semitism in our communities back home. And so we begin our service this morning with 3 such stories from members of our own Reformed Jewish family.
Even though it was a threat, thank God, and nothing happened, something got taken away from those children that day. Namely, the feeling that as a Jewish kid, they were safe in a Jewish building.
At the same time, we also reminded our kids that ultimately most people are in fact good. And most people understand that because we're created in God's image, because we have intrinsic worth, we take care of one another.
Hurricane Maria struck on September 20th on Erev Rosh Hashanah. My husband and I live in the country in a mountainous area. Our power and water has yet to return. We used to regularly go to Friday night services, but it is hazardous to drive at night for us now.
We received a call from the patrol company that monitors our building at night. She said that the patrol had found some anti-Semitic graffiti spray painted on the side of our sanctuary. When I asked her what it said, she said that she didn't know because the patrol was too uncomfortable to read it to her over the phone. We didn't paint over the graffiti before people began to arrive for services because we didn't want to hide from the community what had happened. And at the same time, we didn't want those to be the words that were welcoming people into our sanctuary on Rosh Hashanah morning. So we covered over the graffiti with a piece of butcher paper, and we invited people to write words of love and friendship to cover the words of hate. In the weeks that followed, we were inundated with letters and cards and emails from around the world of people expressing their love and their care and their concern for us. So even as this was a difficult incident for our community, we were really left with the feeling that there's overwhelming goodness in the world. We just have to make sure that the voices of respect and of compassion speak louder than the voices of hate. We have to work together to make sure that in the end, love will win.
We are all trying to find and hold on to a solid base for choosing a direction in our lives. We wonder how to even begin our prayers in such an age and time. How can we find our spiritual balance in such a chaotic world? So we need to be together this morning to listen to what God has to say to us. Let us gain strength from being part of this sacred community. But we also need to be together this morning to be hopeful that we may find some new insight, some deeper meaning that will help us guide through the confusion that is engulfing us all. This morning, we can either say, "Good morning, God," or we can say, "Good God, morning." Let us pray together and retain our spiritual balance. It gives meaning and sweetness to our days. Amen.
Amen.
So there's an old Yiddish proverb that says, "We make plans and then God laughs." Cantor Nyron has been an extraordinary clergy partner in helping to shape this service, and it reflects her musical vision. Unfortunately, due to a cold, she has to use her voice sparingly this morning. And we are so grateful that our dear friend, Cantor Tracy Scher, is here stepping in at the 11th hour to co-lead the service with us. We are all stronger when we raise our voices together. And so we invite you in our service to join your voices with ours as we create a beautiful melody for God.
We invite you now to take a few moments to greet those around you. Please introduce yourself to someone you may not have met yet and share one highlight quickly of your biennial experience this far.
We good? All good? Yeah.
How good, how sweet, how wonderful it is to be together as one community. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Try it! הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב שבת אחים גם יחד. How good it is,
How good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. Let's hear you. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם
a story as we prepare to don the talit, both for those who participate in the ritual and those who do not, for we are all still warm from the coats that we have brought to this place. Many years ago, a young boy of 7 years was preparing to leave native Poland with his parents, and the boy and his father made the long trek from their small village into the center of town to receive the blessing of the rabbi. The trip took so long that the boy and the father decided to spend the night in the rabbi's study. And the boy was trying to sleep with one eye open. He was looking at all of the books around him and watching the rabbi in prayer and in study. The rabbi, too, was looking at the boy. Such a beautiful boy, he thought, and he must be cold. So he took the jacket off his back and he placed it on the sleeping boy. Many years later, when the young boy turned to an older man of 80 years, he was asked about the source of his own compassion and kindness. The man said, 73 years ago, when I was a young boy, the rabbi demonstrated kindness and compassion towards me when he took a coat off his shoulders to keep me warm. Said the man, from that coat, I am still warm. The blessing that we recite for the talit is a blessing that reminds us that the prayers that we recite in this sanctuary, in any sanctuary, are meant to not stay in here, but meant to travel with us beyond these walls. So let us wrap ourselves now in God's mitzvot, a reminder of those who still need to be covered by the warmth of a coat. And let us be comforted by the knowledge that from those coats, we and our brothers and sisters will always be warm. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehitatef batzitzit.
We take a moment now to center ourselves, finding our breath and its connection to our body. If it's comfortable, I invite you to center yourself in your chair, feeling a solid sense of contact with the chair itself and allowing your feet to make a firm connection to the floor. You may want to close your eyes and bring full attention to your breath. Now let's take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold it gently for just a moment, and then slowly release through the mouth. Taking a few more breaths, become aware of the breathing of those seated around you and feel the strength and energy of our community filling this entire room. Continuing to breathe, begin slowly releasing any tension behind your eyes, in your jaw, in your neck and shoulders, and down step by step through your back, each vertebrae. Now release any tension in your legs, your knees, and your feet. Relax further into this open posture, taking another deep breath. Each breath, each letting go, helps us enter this service with open hearts, revealing the image of God within. We give thanks to God for the miracles of body, breath, and soul. I thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize I'm beautiful and whole. I'm perfect the way I am, and a little broken too. I will live each day as a gift I give to you. Pick your favorite note in the chord. לשח בבינה, להבחין בין יום ובין לילה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, פוקח עברים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, מתיר אסורים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, זוקף כפופים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, רוקה הארץ על המים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המחים מצעדי גבר. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, מלביש ארומים. המעביר שינה מעיניי ותנומה מעפעפיי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בצלם אלוהים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בת חורין. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוזר ישראל בגבורה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוטר ישראל בתפארה.
We join together in the blessing for the study of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Having recited the bracha together, we turn now to engage in the study of text. For our tradition teaches us a model for engaging text that embraces the community of us all. We are, after all, a work in progress. We are citizens of a polarized world. We struggle to find common ground with people whose religious, political, or social views are different than our own. While many celebrate our emerging multiculturalism, others mourn the loss of homogeneous communities. Some embrace social change, and others feel fearful and sometimes even disoriented. I read recently that fully 50% of Republicans would not want their child to marry a Democrat, and nearly 1/3 of Democrats return the sentiment. In other words, 2017 has released a new fear: inter-party marriage. How many of us, after all, walk around with a belief that there is only one truth in this world? The rabbis teach us that the Torah has 70 faces, and one verse of the Torah appears one way to one person, and it might appear differently to another. I grew up on the Jersey Shore, where my sister and I would often sneak under the fence to go swimming in the ocean. Posted on the fence was a sign that read, "Warning, no swimming allowed." We, of course, chose to read the same sign. Warning? No, swimming allowed. What the rabbis are saying, of course, is that you might be certain of your own interpretation of reality, but someone else comes along who is equally convinced. And if the Torah actually has 70 faces, and each one represents a different facet of the truth, you can't say that your version of the truth is more than someone else's. If you want to get as close as possible to truth, you have to examine all 70 faces. The Jewish path of study is to move beyond the one or two that we're most familiar, to expand our perspective, and sometimes even to acknowledge the legitimacy of someone else's point of view, and here's the hard part, even when we disagree. Our sages studied the pages of Talmud with great abandon and argued vigorously about their meaning. And when those debates ended, they parted as friends with a deeper understanding of those many faces. To honor every voice, like our own Supreme Court, they preserved the minority as well as the majority opinion. So let us turn now to the practice of sacred arguing, for it's not hard to see how our tradition's approach could have an impact not only on civic life, but in our personal lives as well. Sacred arguing brings to the table a demonstration that words are meant to cultivate life and to resist death. In a moment, we will turn to our neighbors. It might be someone you know very well, and it might be someone you're about to meet for the first time. The text that you will see on the screen is attributed to Rabbi David Hartman. And following the text are questions to discuss with your neighbors for a few moments of sacred Torah arguing. Talk amongst yourselves. What is it? What did it do?
Okay. Well, why don't we decide now?
Give it 1 second. With every breath that we take, with each and every word that we utter, with the actions that we take to better ourselves and to better our world. Let us bless God now and always. Hallelujah.
This summer, while traveling in Thailand, I visited an enchanting site tucked away high on a mountaintop known as the Magic Garden. Built by a fruit farmer at the ripe age of 77, this expansive magical forest, which the farmer tended until he died at age 91, is comprised of dozens and dozens of stone sculptures, each vignette representing a different element of Thai folklore or Buddhist mythology. The images of men and women, temples, plants, and animals tell a never-ending story of the enduring spirit of life. Above all, this garden gives voice to the creativity and beauty of the soul, in our ability to revel in the wonder of what it means to be human. I was particularly drawn to one scene that became an embodiment for me of the 150th Psalm. Psalm 150 calls out 10 expressions of music: shofar, lyre and harp, drum and dance, strings and flute, clanging and resonant cymbals, and finally, kol hanshama, every breathing soul. The sculpture garden contained a cascade of human figures bringing their musical instruments to life. As I gazed in awe at this scene, the familiar Yemenite melody began to play over and over in my head. Suddenly, the entire stone garden was full of song. I realized that it was not only a garden of musicians, but a garden of souls. The music rising in me was filled with hope and joy, with a sense of a vibrant community. I felt a spiritual call to action. It was the kind of musical experience that lifts and strengthens us in this sometimes fragile world. As we join now in singing Psalm 150, may our living garden of souls resound with full voice and spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Shabbat,
Page 84.
יתקדש, יתקדש שמי רבה, ויעמד יברכירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ויומכון, וחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגאלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה, ויאמרו אמן.
The universe works, proclaimed Dr. Rosenzweig, a doctor from Burlingame, California, when he saw the solar eclipse of 1991. And there's some satisfaction in that. The sky got very dark. The horns of the crescent sun shrank together as the sun disappeared. And the leading edge of the moon's shadow swept over them at 1,500 miles an hour. They put away their filters. They looked up at the blank circle surrounded by a pure white ring of light, the corona formed by the sun's atmosphere. Dr. Rosenzweig was having trouble looking through his viewfinder. He said, "I've been crying for minutes. I haven't taken any 35mm pictures because I just forgot about it. I am absolutely awed." Dr. Rosenzweig stood up and started clapping. "Encore," he shouted, "encore." And then, after a few moments of reflection, author, author. Let us join together now in praising the author of our universe. In the beginning, even then, a new light was sown for the righteous, a promise that your light would become the catalyst first for order and then for hope. Author of language and light, help us to use words as you have, to cast light into dark waters, and to draw out justice and truth. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot.
Let's join together in this beautiful melody for Ahava Rabbah, singing the English interpretation by Rabbi Rami Shapiro. love, love, loved by unending love and unending love. We are love, love, loved by unending love and an unending love. We are love, love, loved by unending love and unending love. We are love, love, loved by unending love and unending love.
We are embraced by arms that find us even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us even when we are too embittered to hear. We are supported by hands that lift us even in the midst of a fall.
We are love, love, love by unending love and unending love. We are love, love, love by unending love and unending love. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael, be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha, ukshatam leot ayadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uchtavtam המזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Looking back at this past year, we have seen that we are capable of putting our lives on hold to help people in their times of need. We have also witnessed individuals acting negligently because of fear or personal concern. Really two extremes of our national character. The truth is, to be a good citizen, you don't have to help at the hurricane site or at the fires. In fact, we don't have to worry about anyone except ourselves. Our legal system even discourages us from helping people in time of need. Jewish law, however, is different. Our highest obligation is to reach out to others. We are not to be passive observers. Lo tuchal lehitalem, our Torah teaches, you shall not remain indifferent, or translated literally, do not hide from yourself. Our Reform values instruct us to face the world head on, to engage in study and moral debate, to raise questions about ourselves and questions about our world, and to struggle to repair that which is broken and incomplete. To see a flaw in our world, even one that is not of our own making, is to be obligated by our Torah to restore balance and to restore harmony. When he was 6 years old, Elias Rosenfeld's mother brought her 2 children from Venezuela to Florida legally in search of a better life. Cancer took her when Elias was in the 6th grade, and what Elias did not know then was that he lost his legal status along with his mother. He found out that he was undocumented when he was 15, and he went to the DMV for his learner's permit, just like so many of our youth. His lack of status left him unable even to complete the application. Now, Elias is a sophomore at Brandeis University, studying with so many Jewish students, with those from diverse backgrounds, fighting for freedom and dignity of the 800,000 young dreamers like him who risk losing their protection from deportation and being forced into the shadows. Lo tuchal lehitalem. Do not hide from yourself. Kara Sherman is the president of the Gender Sexualities Alliance at her school in Scottsdale, Arizona. She's a teen leader at Congregation Beth Israel. After visiting the RAC with nifty leaders this summer, Kara was inspired to return home and to make a change in her community. Along with transgender leaders at her school, Kara arranged for a meeting with the principal to ensure that transgender students could have their names and their pronouns respected in the school's yearbook. Kara and other students are now encouraging their school to implement a full policy so that transgender students have their names and pronouns respected on every classroom roster, and they eventually hope to pass a trans-inclusive policy at the district level. Lo tuchal lehitalem. Do not hide from yourself. Mike Flegel is past president of Congregation Beth Tikva in suburban Columbus, active in the Brotherhood, father of religious schools graduates, the picture of an involved Jewish dad, until Yom Kippur morning, when the whole congregation woke up to see his daughter's picture in the paper, arrested for a drug crime. Tammy Fournier Alsada restored her life after returning from prison. She was working every day to improve the inner city Columbus community when she faced the reality that her son might become the 3rd generation in her family to become incarcerated. From 2 different religions, backgrounds, and zip codes, Tammy and Mike came together at the Ohio State House this October to share stories of brokenness, redemption, and faith. They did it with more than 70 Reform Jews from across Ohio. And when Mike finished bearing his family's experience, he walked directly from the podium into Tammy's warm embrace. Then the entire group went to lobby for a bill that would make the community safer for everyone in Ohio. Lo tuchal lehitalem. Do not hide from yourself. As we prepare to sing our song of redemption, let us remember that there is tragedy that we can prevent now if we are willing to engage in the world. Our sisters and brothers cry out in despair, Lo tuchal lehitalem, do not hide from us, we need you now. As German theologian Dorothy Soul affirms, if the sick are to be healed, it is our hands that will heal them. If the lonely and the frightened are to be comforted, it is our hands, not God's, that will embrace them. The warmth of the sun travels on the air, but the warmth of God's love can travel only through each of us. The urgency is now. Lean in, hide no more, step into the water, join hands, and march together.
Adonai, 'Gal Yisrael. 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 Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somechno Berofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayei Me'emunato, Lishenei Afar, Vichamocha Ba'al Givurot, Umido Melech, Melech Memit Umechayei, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים ומשתו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה לזה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל
Please be seated. Each week, Yismechu comes to remind us that the observance of Shabbat is never a burden, rather the source of our joy and our delight.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם יספרו ויתענגו ביטולך השבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. השביעי רצית בו וקידשו שבת, חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא
Let us take now a few moments for silent and personal prayer.
וטהר ליבנו לעבדך באמת, והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון. שבת
We turn now to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, and as we do, we express our gratitude to our Boston area congregations that lent our Sifrei Torah for this morning's service. We honor and welcome to the Bima representatives from URJ congregations who bravely endured the wrath of Hurricanes Harvey and Maria and the Northern California fires. Please rise.
Those who stand before us holding these Torah scrolls represent URJ congregations that have endured devastating disasters. Torah holders, please look out at this biennial congregation and feel the enormous love of our interconnected reform movement. For each of you, these last months have been among the most challenging of your lives. Heroically, you have made your way through cataclysmic hurricanes and devastating fires. Some of your congregants have lost their homes, their earthly possessions, and even their lives. Throughout, and as you continue to repair, rebuild, and heal, we pray that you always felt the warm embrace and support of this inspiring communities of communities which envelop you this day. In a moment, you will carry these sacred scrolls through the congregation. We will, of course, show honor to the Sifrei Torah as we do, but please allow us also to honor each of you for your bravery, caring, determination, and exceptional leadership. Eitz Chaim hi lamachazikim ba. As you did throughout these months of trial and hardship, may you and we always hold Torah and this Kehillah Kedosha close. Amen.
Itzion, Tetzei Torah, Torah Adonai miYerushalayim. Ki mitzion, Tetzei Torah, Torah Adonai miYerushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo, Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. B'kedushato Mitzion, Tetzei Torah, Torah Adonai miYerushalayim. Ki mitzion, Tetzei Torah, Torah Adonai miYerushalayim. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Just watch the steps.
Shabbat shalom.
Watch the steps.
Chazak, chazak.
Watch the steps. Watch the steps. Watch the steps. Nailed it.
לפניו שירה חדשה ונאמר לפניו שירה חדשה ונאמר לפניו שירה חדשה ונאמר לפניו שירה חדשה הללויה 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 ונאמר לפניו שירה חדשה ונאמר לפניו שירה חדשה ונאמר לפניו שירה חדשה ונאמר לפניו שירה חדשה הללויה 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 Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, bo ufanav birnana, ufanav birnana. Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, bo ufanav birnana, ufanav birnana. Yadada, 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 Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Yadada, 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 Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, bo ufanav birnana, ufanav birnana. Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Yadada, 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 Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol anshe ma'aseh, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol anshe ma'aseh, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol anshama ve'aleya. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol anshama ve'aleya. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
What?
All right, what do you want to talk about?
Shabbat Shalom. Vayeshev, our Torah portion, is ominous. In the opening verses, Joseph's tense relationship with his brothers, it disintegrates. In a matter of hours, rivalry becomes hatred. The brothers strip him of his tunic and throw Joseph into a pit. Ready to leave him there to die, but later changing their minds, they choose instead to sell him into slavery for a few silver coins. We're left stunned, wondering how our tribal ancestors could conduct themselves so completely devoid of morality. How did the ties that bind unravel so quickly? The parashah begins with the drama centered in the land of Israel and ends in the diaspora. I won't mince words. My question for us is simple. Are we at a breaking point in diaspora-Israel relations? Is our relationship with our Israeli siblings like that of Joseph and his brothers in the pits? If you're Jewish, it's likely that you live in Israel or in North America. How likely? 4 out of every 5 Jews in the world live in these two communities. What holds together these two great communities and the others, very great communities scattered throughout the world, are shared values, collective memory, and common aspirations. And we are honored that representatives of so many of those communities from around the world are gathered in that spirit with us here in worship this morning. But let's speak honestly. There are also forces pulling our communities apart as well. The frustration, even anger that the non-Orthodox Jewish majority feels as our religious rights in Israel are denied. The alienation many, especially among our youth, feel over Israeli policies toward the Palestinians. The attentiveness of Israel's government to Christian evangelicals while turning a cold shoulder to the concerns of progressive Jews. Some issues that divide us at a given moment in history involve valid moral positions that are in tension with each other. This past week, we experienced such an issue over the timing of U.S. recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of the state of Israel. Overwhelmingly, Jews across the globe are united both in our commitment to Jerusalem as Israel's capital and to the recognition that Israel's security and safety requires peace in the region. Our love of Jerusalem is such a powerful dynamic in our communal and in our individual lives. Who, on their first visit to Israel, can forget the extraordinary experience of being able to walk to the Western Wall, to tread on the same grounds on which King David and King Solomon walked, where Amos, Micah, and Isaiah, where Hillel and Shammai, where for the significant majority of the past 3,000 years, Jews have walked. It's an experience filled with wonderment, even with reverence. Add to that the dazzling wonders of the new city that Israel has built in West Jerusalem, the functional center of Israel's government and cultural life. Truly, for all of us, our cups runneth over. On Wednesday of this week, by declaring formally U.S. recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of the state of Israel, President Trump affirmed an age-old dream of the Jewish people. Now that that decision has been made, our movement stands in solidarity with this recognition. Jerusalem is, in fact, the capital of Israel. That is how it should and must be. The president was correct in noting that a sovereign state is entitled to name its own capital. And his act of formal recognition was a powerful repudiation of the efforts of those who would promulgate the lie that Jewish attachment to key areas of Jerusalem is only a myth. And we stand unified with Israel and Jews everywhere in condemning violence in response to this decision. Before this decision, we expressed our serious concern, but never about the concept, but about the timing of these actions. Like many who champion Israel's cause, we supported the position of President Trump's Republican and Democratic predecessors that such steps ought to be implemented as part of a broader strategy that enhances the two-state solution and thereby contributes to ensuring the safety and security of Israel, lest unilateral acts by the U.S. undercut peace process efforts and risk destabilizing the region. We did not hear such a broader strategy in the president's statement this week. However, we remain clear, as we have throughout the president's first year, that we welcome every opportunity to work with the White House on its efforts to achieve peace. The focus of my remarks this Shabbat morning are, however, on those issues that threaten more permanent damage to our relations with Israel. One major manifestation of such tensions are, well, they're all well known to you. A few months back, after years of negotiations and good faith compromises made on our part, the Israeli cabinet voted to freeze an agreement to create a meaningful, pluralistic prayer space at the Western Wall in Jerusalem. On that same day, the Israeli government fast-tracked a bill that would, for the first time, entrust all matters of conversion inside Israel to the ultra-Orthodox chief rabbinate. And just before Rosh Hashanah, the chief rabbi of Jerusalem, Shlomo Amar, added to the vitriol regularly invoked against us, saying that we Reformed Jews are worse than Holocaust deniers. As always, let's allow our Torah to be a prison to view our current predicament and perhaps to help us envision a more healthy, whole, and hopeful future. Vayomer lo lech na re'eh et shalom achecha. Jacob sends his favorite son, Joseph, to check on his brothers who are pasturing the flocks. The text literally says Joseph is to see the shalom of his brothers. Hasidic master Rabbi Yehuda Leib, altar of Ger, said that Jacob did not intend to make Joseph a mere messenger to assess how the brothers were doing. for he surely could have sent one of his servants to do that. Jacob used the term shalom very intentionally. He wanted Joseph to stop looking only at his brother's faults. He sent him so that he should also notice their good traits, to see them in their wholeness. Our Jewish community would benefit from this teaching, don't you think? Urging us to search for that which is good within our estranged siblings. This is not just a ploy to paper over disagreements with a veneer of civility. Some here today could barely find a respectful word to utter to a right-wing Israeli settler, while others view young members of left-wing pro-Israel organizations as enemies of the Jewish people. When Joseph is lost trying to find his brothers, he encounters a mysterious person, simply known as Ish, who asks Joseph who he's looking for. His answer echoes through the centuries. Et achai anochi mivakesh. I am searching for my brothers. I'm afraid too many of us have stopped trying to find our connection with our Jewish siblings in Israel and North America who dress, vote, pray, and believe differently from us. The sense of Klal Yisrael, the peoplehood of Israel, is becoming an endangered notion both for those who seek to delegitimize reforming conservative Jews and, unfortunately, even from us as liberal Jews. But we will never embrace an empty tribalism. We will show up in Israel and here in North America proudly wearing our social justice and deep ethical commitments. This is fully in keeping with the important strands of Zionist thought in influential thinkers like Achad Ha'am, A.D. Gordon, Henrietta Zold, and Judah Magnus. Vayir'u oto merachok. The Torah text tells us that Joseph's brothers saw their brother only from afar, and they didn't like what they saw. Jews on both sides of the ocean need to see each other up close. From afar, we appear to be increasingly foreign to each other. It's not only that too many Israelis, including far too many in positions of authority, have a distorted perception of North American Jews. Too many North American Jews see Israel only through a growing litany of government decisions and actions that are at odds with our core Jewish values. We should never shirk our obligation to raise objections to policies that weaken Israel's Jewish democratic core and undermine prospects for Israeli-Palestinian peace. But we must simultaneously help our people fall in love with Israel, with her diverse and remarkable people, her founding vision, her creativity in scientific, business, and cultural achievements, and so much more. That's why we bring thousands of Reformed Jews to Israel each year. Teens on Nifty in Israel, for a semester on Heller High, as well as hundreds of congregational trips. And this is why we continue to encourage emphatically our 18 to 26-year-olds to go on birthright. At the same time, we take our Israel engagement work very seriously here in North America, including partnering with the Jewish Agency to bring hundreds of Israeli shlichim, or emissaries, to North America to our URJ summer camps and congregations. These Israelis bring their love of Israel to our teens, our campers, and our congregations. And in return, and there is a return here, almost all of these Israelis tell us they have, for the first time, experienced a Judaism that is alive and compelling to them. So let's build on that. Hey, what do you think? Let's create a reverse birthright for Israelis here in Jewish communities in North America. let's not be random about it. Let's focus strategically on Israeli leaders, the up-and-coming ones, and those in positions of leadership, and journalists and educators and cultural figures who can also help shape Israeli policy. We North Americans have powerful experiences during our visits to the Jewish state, but we should not underestimate the power Israelis experience when they spend real time here with us. Too many Israeli leaders, including members of the current Israeli cabinet, are woefully ignorant about Jewish life outside of Israel. A stunning encounter I had recently with influential tourism minister Yariv Levin dramatizes the way he and most of his colleagues think about North American Jews. Minister Levin, who's a secular Jew, said publicly and loudly, it's a mistake to give non-Orthodox Jews a place at the Kotel because, he said, they'll be gone in another couple of years due to assimilation and intermarriage. Prime Minister Netanyahu asked me to talk to Levin. I told the Prime Minister, I think he works for you. The Prime Minister said, he does. I talked to him, now you talk to him. The next day, while I was in the Knesset for meetings, I encountered Minister Levin in one of the main hallways. I saw him coming, and I put out my hand, and I said, Minister Levin, I'm Rabbi Rick. He said, I know who you are. I said, I know who you are. Mr. Minister, I said, I heard your harsh words on TV about Reform Jews, but you have no idea who we are. I told him that he had correctly identified us as collectively standing at the door to Jewish life, but he had the direction all wrong. We're not helping Jews out the door. We're standing there helping the Jews into the door. I then invited him to the States. He's the tourism minister. Thinks like a good idea to me, right? Come to the United States, I said. Come to North America. Come to Canada. Come see and get to know the largest movement in Jewish life and see from up close the vibrant, inclusive, intellectually honest, and passionate Judaism that our congregations practice here. Indeed, I'd love to have the whole Israeli cabinet here at our biennial. Which lunch do you think they ought to go to? I want them to be here because I would love for them to have been here this morning and to heard what we do, how we do this Jewish work with such passion and such creativity. Some Israeli leaders, however, and I must single out one in particular, have forged real connections. And we are very grateful to Israel's president, Reuven Rivlin. He didn't start out as our friend, but I will tell you with 100% certainty that he now understands who we are, and he regularly meets with us, and he has become a strong and effective advocate for more understanding and respect between world Jewry and Israel, and we need more disciples from President Rivlin. Make no mistake about it, Jewish life here in North America is strong. It's very strong. Think about it. Today there are in North America more Jewish books being published, more Jewish music, dance, theater, and films being produced, more Jewish courses of study being offered by more universities, more synagogues with richer and more extensive Jewish programming than ever before. In some of these aspects, we surpass Israel. We're not disappearing, friends. We're not fading away. With all due respect, we have as much to offer Israel as Israel has to offer us. And the best way to help her leaders understand that is to have them spend time here with us. And while we're on the subject, let's stop using the label diaspora in describing ourselves. Diaspora implies a center and periphery. Let's use the term world Jewry instead. Today, there's more than one center of Jewish life. This is not new for the Jewish people. Remember that the most authoritative Jewish intellectual achievement, the Babylonian Talmud, was created in the 6th century Babylonia. And throughout every period of our people's history, for the past 2,000 years, more Jews have lived outside of Israel than in our homeland. So let's not write off anyone among our world Jewish community. Let's stop thinking that Israel unilaterally sets the agenda for world Jewry. That paradigm is broken, and the time has come, it's actually long overdue, that we replace it with an ethos of an interdependent, mutually responsible world Jewish community with two powerful centers, North America and Israel. Vayomer Yisrael el Yosef, Halo achecha ro'im b'Shechem. Geography matters. Joseph is sent to find his brothers near the town of Shechem. Today that would be Nablus in the heart of the northern West Bank, which is surely a part of the biblical land of Israel. This narrative is used by some to bolster the Jewish claim to all of biblical Israel as our inheritance. That argument has validity in the abstract. But given the realities of the world today, pursuing that inheritance now runs counter to higher Jewish values. Continuing to spread Jewish settlements throughout the West Bank endangers any possibility of a two-state solution, which is indispensable for a realistic peace agreement, thereby undermining the Zionist enterprise of a safe and secure Jewish democratic state. I'm tall, but I'm not naive. We are clearly not close to a two-state solution, though, as I indicated before, I am encouraged by the U.S. administration's efforts to advance a renewed peace process, which I conveyed directly to them in my discussion with U.S. Special Envoy Jason Greenblatt. But this is clear. There can be no legitimate Jewish state that is not a democracy. A one-state solution that would deny Palestinians any claim to sovereignty would result in the abandonment of either the Jewish or the democratic essence of modern Israel. I can't imagine, nor do I think you could imagine, losing either Jewish or democratic. This, too, is a place for honesty. The occupation is real. As Ariel Sharon, hardly a left-wing progressive Zionist, noted back in 2003, he said, and I quote, "You cannot like the word, but what is happening is an occupation. To hold 3.5 million Palestinians under occupation, I believe that is a terrible thing for Israel and for the Palestinians," end quote. Ending the occupation is in Israel's interest, but calling for an end to the occupation is not the same thing as resolving the underlying issues of security for Israel and sovereignty for Palestinians. One can be completely committed to Israel's security and well-being and at the same time fully supportive of the right of Palestinians to a homeland living side by side with Israel in security and peace. A robust debate has been underway in Israel about whether or not settlements truly make Israel more secure. It divides the Israeli public, Israeli politicians, as well as former IDF commanders and Israel's security services heads. We cannot and should not make Israel's policy decisions The people of Israel live and die by those decisions. But we can ask that in their deliberations they listen to the voice and opinions of those who are devoted to Israel's well-being and can offer perspectives they may overlook. In that spirit, we should and will challenge those who wrongly suggest that lovers of Israel must support the most extreme ideology of the settler movement as part of the core of Zionism. And we can explain how counterproductive it is to Israel's support in North America and in the Jewish community for the Israeli government to ask that we speak up on college campuses or in front of mainline Protestant groups in favor of expanding settlements. As settlement expansion undermines the possibility of two states for two peoples, so does BDS by delegitimizing Israel's very existence. I made that case and helped defeat a BDS resolution at the Unitarian Universalist Convention last year. Too often, Israel's defenders are asked by hardline advocates to include the entirety of Israel's West Bank settlements in the pro-Israel argument, denying the reality of the occupation. Let me say it loudly and clearly. We Reform Zionists, with a long track record for support for Palestinian rights and our opposition to settlements, we can be particularly effective in such settings. And we, all of us, have a crucial role in making the progressive case for Israel. At the same time, in spite of the Israeli government's bending to the discriminatory demands of ultra-Orthodox parties, our Reform Zionist movement in Israel, guess what? It's flourishing. 2 weeks ago in Jerusalem, I was inspired to be present as HUC-JAR ordained the 100th Israeli Reform rabbi. These 100-plus rabbis, along with a large growing network of amazing and devoted lay leaders, are leading congregations and communities and programs all over our beloved Jewish state. The Israel Movement for Progressive and Reform Judaism recently commissioned a comprehensive survey and found, listen to this, that the majority of Israelis from across the political spectrum have positive attitudes of Reform Judaism. How'd they get this idea? After experiencing firsthand a wedding or a bar bat mitzvah at a Reform congregation or led by one of our amazing Reform Israeli rabbis. Also, listen to this, a clear majority of Jewish Israelis support the right of Reform and conservative Jews and women of the wall to pray at the Kotel. And listen to this too, and a clear majority of Israelis reject the claim that Orthodox Judaism is the only authentic Judaism. But now lean in and listen really carefully. The survey conducted by one of Israel's most respected political posters found that 7% of Israelis identified actively with Reform Judaism, a greater percentage than ever before. But if you now add the almost 4% that self-identified as conservative, well, I can do that much math. That means that 11% of Jewish Israelis identify themselves with non-Orthodox Jewish religious streams. That figure is roughly equivalent to the number of ultra-Orthodox Jews in Israel. Can you do that math with me? Non-Orthodox Judaism in general, and Reform Judaism in particular, we're gaining remarkable strength throughout almost all sectors of Israeli society. Vayimkuru et Yosef liishmalim be'esrim kasef vayaviu et Yosef mitzrayma. They sold Joseph for 20 pieces of silver to the Ishmaelites who brought Joseph to Egypt. Did the current Israeli government sell non-Orthodox Jews for some political silver? That's what the worst of coalition politics is about, the kind of wheeling and dealing that we see. Immediately following our Torah reading, we will hear in the Haftarah the words of the prophet Amos, who rebukes those who dare pervert our tradition's moral imperatives. Al michram bakesef tzadik, because they, Amos said, have sold for silver those whose cause was just. We gathered here, those of us in this biennial congregation, we know full well that our cause is just. And we won't tolerate our rights being sold for political expediency. And in case you're worried, we will win the struggle for an egalitarian, pluralistic prayer space at the Kotel. Of that, I am sure. And we will not accept the breadcrumbs that the Prime Minister is throwing our way. No chance. A second-rate space will never be acceptable to the overwhelming majority of Jews in the world. Standing up for the rights of all Jews at the Kotel can get you roughed up. Well, we learned that the hard way, but we're okay. As the senator told us yesterday, we don't get weaker, we actually build up some new muscles. What was that terrible thing we did? Well, with our new ordinees, we carried 8 Sifrei Torah into the upper Kotel Plaza. A victory for equal rights at the Kotel is important, both intrinsically and symbolically. Making the Western Wall an image of Jewish equality is a crucial step that can create momentum in Israel towards ensuring religious and civil equality for all streams of Judaism and for secular Jews throughout the Jewish state in matters of marriage, conversion, equal support for our congregations, rabbis and schools, and so much more. My friends, leaders of this great movement, this is not a moment for us to watch from the sidelines or pick up our marbles and go home. Not a chance. Between now and our next biennial, our North American movement will, take a deep breath, and between now and next biennial, we will double our financial investment in the growing our Reform Judaism in Israel. How about that? In the past 7 years, our Israeli Reform movement, the IMPJ, has doubled the number of Israelis who self-identify as Reformed Jews. So now when we double our investment, what's going to happen? Well, you'll see. We can continue to grow more rapidly, and our Israeli movement and our influence in all sectors of Israeli society. And as we double and double and double the number of weddings, b'nai mitzvah, those who study with us, those who stand up for justice with us, who attend our early childhood centers, and on and on and on. And we are fortunate to have partners who share our vision of Israel as a true Jewish homeland for all Jews. One such partner is UJA Federation of New York. For many years, they have been advocates and significant funders of religious diversity in Israel and invested in reform movement initiatives and institutions in Israel, including funding for Iraq, HUCJAR, and IMPJ. As we reach toward our aspirations and commit to a new level of engagement and significant financial investment in Israel, UJA Federation of New York has reaffirmed its willingness to stand with us. And I am pleased to announce that they are ready with materially additive dollars and leadership to help expand our reach and increase our effectiveness in engaging generations of Israelis on this Jewish journey of ours. I am optimistic that many other federations and organizations will follow their example, and that those of you who are active leaders in federation across North America will be assertive in asking them to follow UJ of New York's model. Indeed, URJ, with the able and strong leadership of ARTSA and ARTSA Canada, who tirelessly work to promote Reform Judaism in Israel, we will make sure with their leadership to join with the IMPJ leaders and every single arm of this reform movement and our allies in federations and across the Jewish world to ramp up and make this initiative possible so that we can shape the Israel that ought to be. And finally, Joseph finds himself, as we do, outside the land of Israel. Rather than being powerless and vulnerable, Joseph uses his opportunities and gifts to rise to be second only to Pharaoh. So too, we here in North America have used our opportunities and freedom to become a respected and influential community. From his leadership perch, Joseph saves those starving in the land of Israel and much of the world as well. His ties to Israel remain unbroken for eternity when he demands a promise from his family that their descendants would take his bones with them when they return to Israel. And what of our ties to Israel? Are we at a breaking point? We must acknowledge we are coming alarmingly close. Is it too late? I know with certainty, when I see what this movement has accomplished, that it is not too late. I know it is not too late if we, the largest and most diverse movement in Jewish life, act to build Reform Judaism strong enough to fulfill its immense potential in Israel, to capture the moral imagination and the spiritual questing of the people of Israel. And when we build that movement, and when we spread progressive Judaism throughout the land, it not only wins hearts and minds, it leads those hearts and minds to vote differently. And that is part of this change strategy. That, my friends, is my call to you on this Shabbat morning, to echo Joseph's words, Et achai anochi mivakesh. I am searching for my siblings. Let each of us search for our brothers and sisters in Israel, knowing that the only way we'll truly find them is not by looking at each other from afar, but rather by leaning in closer than ever, by embracing each other, recognizing both our faults and our achievements, our limitations and our potential for greatness. Let us celebrate two great centers of Jewish life bound together in shaping the destiny of the Jewish people. We are one diverse and strong Jewish people. We are not obliged to agree with all of our siblings, but rather to stand up for and to them at times as we feel more responsibility for each other. Towards the end of the Joseph narrative, we read that our patriarch Jacob's soul is forever bound up with his son Joseph. V'nafsho kishura v'nafsho. And so it is with our relationship with our brothers and sisters in Israel. Let us see each other in our splendid wholeness, up close and as equals in pursuit of shalom. Let that day begin today. Amen. For the first Aliyah, we call forward Rabbi Jack and Audrey Heller-Romberg and Lori Heller-Kaufman as we honor the extraordinary generosity and devotion of Elaine and Ike of blessed memory Heller, in whose honor we renamed our EIE program, the Isaac and Elaine Heller EIE High School in Israel. As the Heller family makes its way to the Biennial, may I ask individuals to rise. Don't listen to the prompts, please. And when you hear a prompt that's you stand up and please remain standing for this Aliyah. I'd like to ask all the alumni of EIE or Heller High to stand up, please, first. If you're the parent of an EIE or Heller High alum, stand up. If you're an alum of Nifty in Israel, please rise. If you're the parent of a Nifty in Israel traveler, please rise. If you're an alumni of Birthright, please stand. If you're the parent or grandparent of a Birthright traveler, please stand. Oh, looks like people are getting some exercise here. That's good. People who've traveled to Israel with a congregational trip, would you stand up? And let's try this. This is called a demographic study. Anyone who's ever traveled to Israel, please rise. Minister Levine, would you just take a look at this congregation for the moment? Let's get them up close. Guys, come close. It's a blessing. Baruch Adonai Ambarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Ambarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen. Amen. וילכו אחיו לראות את צאן אביהם בשכם. ויאמר ישראל אל יוסף, הלא אחיך רואים בשכם, לך ואשלחך עליהם. ויאמר לו הנני. ויאמר לו, לך נא ראה את שלום אחיך ואת שלום הצאן, והשיבני דבר. וישלחך מעמק חברון, ויבוא שכמה. וימצאהו איש, והנה טועה בשדה. וישלחו האיש לאמור מה תבקש. ויאמר את אחי אנוכי מבקש, הגידה נא לי איפה הם רואים. ויאמר האיש נסו מזה, כי שמעתי אומרים נלכה דותיינה. וילך יוסף אחר אחיו, וימצאם בדותן.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen. So our Torah reader, graduate of EIE and Birthright, Asher Koach. Stay right here. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless this remarkable Heller family. With full hearts, we thank the entire family for their generosity. But most especially, we thank Helene Heller, who is joining us by live stream. So, Helene, we thank you. Our Israel programs help shape Jewish lives of commitment. Lori and Audrey, you both went on summer trips to Israel through Nifty in Israel, and Jack and Audrey, you met in Israel in 1971 while on a mitzvah court trip. Hey, you never know. After which Audrey spent the fall semester in 1972 back in Israel on EIE. From that moment on, this Heller family has been deeply devoted to EIE, generously funding student scholarships. Last year, in memory of Ike, the Heller family made an extraordinary contribution to sustain this unique program that transformed Audrey's life and the lives of so many others throughout the years. And just weeks ago, Elaine Heller made another extremely significant gift to Camp Harlem to honor her 6 grandchildren who loved their time at camp. In the parashah, a teenage Joseph is lost on his Israel journey. Luckily, the angel Gabriel appears and guides him. And so it is with the Isaac and Helene Heller EIE High School in Israel, the amazing program that has pointed the way for thousands of young people. May the Holy One continue to bless our angels for their devotion, their vision, and their generosity. Amen.
Thank you.
For the honor of the second Aliyah, we called forward Paula and Jerry Kay for their inspired leadership of Asrui, our beloved camp in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. And as Jerry and Paula make their way up to the bima, I'm going to ask that you pay attention, and when there's a prompt that's you'll stand up. This category is the category of Israel activism. So if your Israel activism includes standing up against BDS on a college campus or in your own community, would you please rise? If you voted in the most recent World Zionist Congress election, would you stand up?
You get on the honest.
If you've raised your voice for an Israel that is pluralistic, tolerant, and at peace, would you stand up? You signed a petition or wrote a letter to an Israeli leader, the prime minister or a member of Knesset or the consul general in your community demanding implementation of the Kotel agreement or some other urgent issue, would you please stand up? If you encouraged your elected representatives here in North America to advocate for a safe, secure, and democratic Israel, would you stand up? If you attended a rally to raise your voice for the Israel you love, would you stand up? I like a lot of folks standing up here. Just stay where you are for this Aliyah, please. Yeah. Show Jerry where we're
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan banu l'kol ha'amek, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai, noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
אמן, ויראו אותו מרחוק, ובטרם יקרב עליהם, ויתנכלו אותו להמיתו. ויאמרו איש אל אחיו, הנה בעל החלומות הלזה בא, ועתה לכו ונהרגהו ונשליכהו באחד הבורות, ואמרנו חיה רעה אכלתהו, ונראה מה יהיו חלומותיו. וישמע ראובן ויצילהו מידם, ויאמר לו נקנו נפש. ויאמר עליהם ראובן אל תשפכו דם, השליכו אותו אל הבור הזה אשר במדבר, ויד אל תשלחו בו, למען הציל אותו מידם להשיבו אל אביו. ויהי כאשר בא יוסף אל אחיו, ויפשיטו את יוסף את כותונתו, את כותונת הפסים אשר עליו, ויקחוהו וישליכו אותו הבורה, והבור ריק אין בו מים.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Just a moment to say Yasher Koach to, I can't know exactly which number it'll be, the 118th, the 120th Israeli Reform Rabbi, and at the same moment, the first Chazan, the first Israeli Reform Chazan. Both in the same person. Mishaberach Avotenu v'imotenu. May the one who sustained our ancestors on their journeys bless our beloved colleagues, Jerry and Paula Kay, for their 48 summers of extraordinary leadership of Olin Sang Ruby Union Institute. Generations of Josephs, Rachels, Leahs, Isaac, and Rebekahs have been educated, challenged, and guided in the ways of Torah because of these remarkable people. Together, Jerry and Paula created a meaningful, fulfilling, happy, and healthy environment in which young people could explore their Jewish identity while experiencing Judaism joyfully. Paula, you cared for the physical well-being of everyone. And Jerry, your inspired vision for our first overnight camp has set the bar high for our camps throughout North America. Your mesmerizing stories, learned Torah, and love of Hebrew, and so much more have left an indelible imprint on tens of thousands who bless every corner of this great movement and every corner of this Jewish world. Jerry, under your protective wing, Debbie Friedman, Zichronah Livracha, found her voice at Asrui. Your role in creating Hava Nashira and so many other innovative programs has helped shape every part of this movement that we love. Paula and Jerry, for a blessing for the journey ahead, I will ask Debbie's help. May you be sheltered by the wings of peace. May you be kept in safety and in love. May you be blessed with health and joy. May this be your blessing. Amen.
Amen.
For the honor of the third Aliyah, we call forward Rabbis John Rosoff, Josh Weinberg, and Lisa Tsur as we honor the 40th anniversary of ARTSA, the Association of Reformed Zionists of America. As they ascend, listen for your cue to rise once more in your places. If you believe that our Reformed Jewish movement has a critical role to play in securing and strengthening Jewish life here in North America and around the world and in Israel, please stand and remain standing, not only for this Aliyah and not only for the coming week, but for the coming years until we get this done.
No, Leah
Leah's reading.
No, so we need Leah too.
We probably need a Torah reader. Yeah, that would be good. So just hold this moment, because there's a person you always have to have at the Torah reading, and that's the person who's going to read the Torah. I don't know if you try that in your congregations without such a person, but it doesn't usually work so well. So while you're standing, and I love to see how many are standing, and thinking, first of all, even those who can't stand physically, you're standing with us, because we are one movement. We are standing strong, we are standing together, and we are standing with the firm commitment that we have an important role to play as we go forward on our Jewish journey. So as Leah comes to the Torah, I would ask the leaders of ARTSA to gather and please offer the brachot before the reading of the Torah. Oh, we'll find it. What's the opening?
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamborach. Baruch Adonai Hamborach leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim ונתן לנו את תורתו, ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Yeah, this is it. Amen. Vaisvu le'echol lechem, vaisu enechem, vairu, vehine urchat Yishmaelim, va'a megilad, ugmalehem nosim, nehut utre valot, holchim lehorid mitzrayma. Vayomer Yehuda elechav ma betza ki naharog et achinu vechasinu et demo. Lehu venimkirenu leYishmaelim veyarenu al tehivo ki achinu v'sarenu hu v'yishme'u echav v'ya'avru anashim midyonim socharim v'yimshechu v'ya'alu et Yosef min habor v'yimkeru et Yosef la'yishme'elim besrim kasef Vayiviu et Yosef Mitzrayma.
Yasher koach.
Thanks.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. So first to say to Leah, Yasher koach, and you not only chanted beautifully, but you lead us, and you are a leader of Artsa, and you're a leader of all that our Zionism is about. Kol hakavod. Thank you. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu. May the one who called our ancient leaders to love, defend, and enrich the homeland of the Jewish people shower blessing upon the Association of Reformed Zionists of America as they celebrate 40 years of devotion to increasing our movement's commitment to the State of Israel. Because of Artsa's tireless efforts over these decades, our reform movement has become a formidable presence within the Zionist world. From the beginning in 1977, Artsa's leaders have never wavered in their love for Israel, even as they have stood strongly for the core Jewish values of pluralism, equality, democracy, security, and peace. Rabbi John Rosoff, Rabbi Josh Weinberg, Rabbi Lisa Tzur, you embody our movement's Ahavat Yisrael, our love of Israel. Leaders of Artsa and Artsa Canada, the work of this 41st year of Artsa will be, I believe, your most important. But you will never labor alone. So look out at this congregation and know that you will have support. We stand in readiness and we say, Od lo avda tikvatenu. Our hope is not lost and will never be lost. You and we have not and will not ever abandon the hope of 2 millennia. Tirelessly and strategically, we will labor with every fiber of our beings to strengthen the Israel we love. Lihiyot am choshi be'artzenu, to be a free people in our land. Shkoach.
When we join together at our Biennial, we come together as one congregation in order to share in our lives as Jews and to be part of the community of Israel, past and present and future. Here lies the essence of our Reformed Jewish way of life, that every person must share in every other person's life. One must not be left alone either in joys of sorrow or in times of great celebration. And so we offer this prayer of healing to those who are ill, those who are here in our sanctuary, and those who are joining us via live stream today, our family and friends who are near and far, those who are ill in body and spirit and soul, this prayer of wholeness and healing and peace. Mishaberach avotenu ve'imotenu, Avraham v'Sara, Yitzchak v'Rivka, Yaakov v'Rachel v'Leah, hu yivarech et hacholim ha'eleh, v'yavi alehem rifuat ha'nefesh v'rifuat ha'guf, yachad im kol cholei amo Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh hacholim.
Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy.
Please rise as our Torah lifter and dresser, our Hagba and Galila, will come forward. It's okay? Just use the lever.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל, על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, לה 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 לה, לה 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 לה. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
To offer our Haftarah, we call forward Liz Dunst, who will offer the bracha before, and Rabbi Noah Satat, who will offer the words of Amos, and Gali Giborovich, who will offer the blessing after. Gali was married last Sunday on the bima of Temple Emmanuel in New York City, along with two couples that cannot be married in Israel, and one couple, Gali and her beloved, who would not be married according to the ultra-Orthodox way. So we can still say Mazal Tov to our bride. And I'm honored that Rabbi Aaron Pankin and I had the honor of signing your ketubah and your marriage license. Sometimes you just have to do a little spiritual disobedience.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratzav v'divreihem hanamarim b'hemet Baruch atah Adonai Habocher b'Torah u'v'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'imvenei ha'emet v'tzedek. Amen. כה אמר אדוני על 3 פשעי ישראל ועל 4 לא אשיבנו, על מכרם בכסף צדיק ואביון בעבור נעליים, השואפים על עפר ארץ בראש דלים ודרך ענבים יעטו, ואיש ואביו ילכו אל הנערה למען חלל את שם קודשי, ועל בגדים חבולים יעטו אצל כל מזבח, ויין אנושים ישתו בית אלוהיהם, ואנוכי השמדתי את האמורים מפניהם, אשר כגוב הארזים גובהו, וחסון הוא כעלונים, ואשמיד פריו ממעל ושורשיו מתחת. ואנוכי העליתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, והולך אתכם במדבר 40 שנה, לרשת את ארץ האמורי, והקים מבניכם לנביאים, ומבחוריכם לנזירים. האפן זאת בני ישראל נאום אדוני, ותשקו את הנזירים יין, ועל הנביאים ציוויתם לאמור לא תנבאו.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, צור כל העולמים, צדיק בכל הדורות, האל הנאמן האומר ועושה, המדבר ומקיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה, שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. The prophet Amos would recognize each of you as his not only descendant, but his disciples. Keep the work of justice alive. And now to offer the blessings for the state of Israel, we call forward Anat Hoffman, who leads our Israel Religious Action Center as its executive director, and Rabbi Gilad Kariv, President and CEO of the Israel Movement for Progressive and Reform Judaism.
Today more than ever, Sha'alu Shalom Yerushalayim, prayer for peace in Jerusalem. אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו, ברך את מדינת ישראל, ראשית צמיחת גאולתנו. הגן עליה בעברת חסדך, ופרוס עליה סוכת שלומך, ושלח אורך ועמיתך לראשיה, שריה ויועציה, ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניך, ונתת שלום בארץ, ושמחת עולם ליושביה, ונאמר אמן.
אמן.
Eli, in this sacred moment, give us hope for Israel and its future. Renew our wonder at the miracle of the Jewish state. In the name of the pioneers who made the deserts bloom, give us the tools to cultivate a diversity of Jewish expressions in Israel. In the name of the fallen soldiers, give us the courage to stand up to the words and ways of zealots, those in our own midst and those among our neighbors. In the name of Israeli inventors who have amazed the world with their innovations, help us apply the same ingenuity in finding a path for peace. In the name of those men and women, grant us the strength to conquer doubt and despair in Israel, replacing doubt with action, replacing despair with hope, and let us say, Amen.
Elad and Anat, please look out and let's do something that is not just ritually significant, but it is significant in the future of the work that we will do together. Let's ask everyone here to please rise so we can return the torch to the ark and remember what it feels like to stand up for what we believe in.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedulah le'oser bereshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, בגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו מודים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Please be seated. We turn now to the words of Zicharon, and we take a few moments to turn inward so that we can remember those who were dear to us in life. Though vanished from our sight, they live in our hearts. We remember this Shabbat those who lost their lives to floods and fires and hurricanes, to sickness and war and famine, to acts of terrorism and to gun violence in our streets, to those who built up and defended Israel, and to those who served the United States of America with great distinction, heroes whose sacrifice made our world a better place. We remember this Shabbat our dearest of family and friends. Some were quiet and had a good heart, pursued justice and were pious. Some loved to be around people, and others built and loved animals. Some ate junk food and laughed often. Some were grateful, some demanding, and some generous. But all were ours. Some would surely be here sitting next to us, and others helped us on our journey to get to this place and this time. We remember those who were taken from us during the 30-day period of Shloshim, of immediate mourning, alongside those we remember each year during this season. And so beyond the ache that tells how much we miss them, a deeper thought compels. We were together. We hold them still in our minds and give thanks for life and for love. The happiness that was, the memories that do not fade are a gift that cannot be lost. Our loved ones continue to bless our days and years, and for them we will always give thanks. Our sorrow is to have lost them, our privilege to have known them, our responsibility to build on their achievements. Let us now remember our most dearly departed, those who have been taken from our people, from our movement, and from our families, and recite these words, hallowed by time. Please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, v'yalma divra cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mivorach le'ulam u'lalmei al-maya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen.
Oseh shalom.
Friends, as we prepare for our closing song, one final blessing before we conclude our service, at least before Tisha B'Av, we take this opportunity to bless each other, and I invite you to place your hand on the shoulder or over the heads of the person next to you. Our tradition teaches us that God offers the blessing, but we are God's agents and have the privilege and responsibility of blessing each other with the same blessing given to Abraham and Sarah. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. May the light of God's presence shine upon you and inspire you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And may your knowledge of the oneness of this universe help you to find happiness in life, peace in our world, and joy in our extraordinary movement. Amen.
Amen. We'd like to call up Rabbi Jeff Serkman and Cantor Shira Ben David to the Bima to help us conclude. We will conclude together in song, celebrating the spirit of holiness that fills creation. Please remain standing, dance, and sing like you've been singing this melody your entire life. Ya Ribon Alam.
Welcome.